Welcome everyone, listen carefully. There is a silent problem destroying millions of lives every single day. It is not lack of talent. It is not lack of intelligence. It is not even lack of opportunity. It is something much more dangerous. Laziness. Not the kind where someone does nothing, but the kind where someone knows exactly what they should do and still does not do it. This is the story of a student who wanted to become a software engineer. He had dreams, big dreams. He wanted to build apps. He wanted to earn money. He wanted to give his parents a better life. He wanted respect. But there was one enemy standing quietly inside him, and that enemy was not visible to the world. It was inside his mind. This is not just his story. If you listen deeply, you will see your own life in it. And maybe, by the end of this story, something inside you will change forever. And while you listen to this story, you are not just getting motivation. You are also improving your English naturally. So stay till the end, and if you want to grow your mindset and your English together, make sure you subscribe. Chapter 1. The life he was slowly destroying. His name was Daniel. He was 20 years old. He was a student preparing to become a software engineer. He had a laptop, he had internet, he had time, he had everything most people dream of having. But still, he was not moving forward. Every morning, his alarm rang at 7 a.m., and every morning, he pressed snooze. Not once, not twice, but 5, 6, sometimes 7 times, until 10 a.m. When he finally woke up, the day already felt heavy. Not because he worked hard, but because he knew. He had already lost the morning. He picked up his phone. Just 5 minutes, he told himself. But 5 minutes became 1 hour, scrolling, watching, laughing, forgetting his dreams, forgetting his goals, forgetting the person he once wanted to become. After that, he rushed through the day. No plan, no focus, no direction. He opened his laptop sometimes, but instead of coding, he watched tutorials without practicing. He told himself he was learning, but deep inside, he knew the truth. He was avoiding real work, avoiding effort, avoiding discomfort, avoiding growth. At night, everything became quiet, and in that silence, his thoughts became louder. He lay on his bed and stared at the ceiling, and slowly, the truth started speaking. You wasted another day. You are not serious about your life. You are falling behind. He felt pain, not physical pain, but something deeper. The pain of knowing you can do better, but you are not doing it. The pain of watching yourself become weaker every day. He remembered his father's tired face after work. He remembered his mother saying softly, "You have everything. Just focus on your future." He remembered his younger self, full of energy, full of dreams, and then he looked at his present self, confused, distracted, weak. That comparison hurt a lot, but even after feeling all this pain, the next day, he repeated the same cycle. Wake up late, waste time, avoid work, feel regret, again and again. This is the most dangerous part of laziness. It does not destroy you in one day. It destroys you slowly, so slowly that you don't even notice it at first. Days become weeks, weeks become months, and one day, you wake up and realize you are far behind where you should have been. One evening, Daniel sat alone in his room. His laptop was open in front of him. A coding course was playing, but he was not watching it. His eyes were on the screen, but his mind was somewhere else. He paused the video, closed the laptop, and sat still. For a long time, no phone, no distraction, no noise, just silence. And in that silence, he finally asked himself one honest question. What am I doing with my life? No excuses, no lies, no pretending, just truth. And that truth hit him hard. I am not tired. I am not busy. I am not unlucky. I am avoiding the work that can change my life. That moment was not dramatic. Nothing big happened. No sudden success. No instant motivation. But something small and very powerful started that day. Awareness. For the first time, he stopped blaming the world. He stopped blaming time. He stopped blaming situations. He saw the real problem. Himself. And when a person finally sees the truth clearly, that is the beginning of change. Not the end of laziness, but the beginning of fighting it. That night, Daniel did not promise anything big. He did not say, I will change my life from tomorrow. He did not create a perfect plan. He just sat there, thinking, and slowly, one decision formed in his mind. A simple decision. I will not run away from my life anymore. And that small decision was the first step towards killing his laziness. Chapter 2. The war he could no longer escape. The next morning, nothing looked different. The same room, the same bed, the same phone lying next to his pillow, the same alarm waiting to ring. But something inside Daniel was not the same. At 7 a.m., the alarm rang, a sharp sound in a quiet room. His eyes opened slowly, and for a few seconds, he just stared at the ceiling. This was the moment, the same moment he had lost every single day before. And just like always, his mind started speaking. Soft, comfortable, dangerous. Sleep a little more. You can start later. You didn't sleep well. One more day will not matter. It sounded logical. It sounded normal. It sounded harmless. But this time, Daniel did not move immediately. He stayed still. And for the first time, he observed his own thoughts. He realized something very deep in that moment. This voice is not helping me. This voice is keeping me exactly where I am. His body felt heavy. His eyes wanted to close again. His blanket felt warm. Everything inside him was pulling him back to comfort. This is the truth no one talks about. Change does not feel exciting in the beginning. Change feels uncomfortable. Change feels slow. Change feels painful. Daniel sat up. Not fast, not powerful, but intentional. Even that small movement felt like a victory. He put his feet on the ground. Cold floor, uncomfortable, real. His mind still tried to pull him back. Go back to bed, just today, start tomorrow. But this time, he did something different. He spoke back. Not loudly, not dramatically, but clearly. No, just one word, but full of resistance. That one word was the beginning of control. He stood up, walked slowly to the table, opened his laptop. The screen lit up, and for a moment, he felt lost again. What should I do? Where should I start? I don't feel ready. This is where most people stop again. They wake up, but they don't act. Daniel felt that confusion too. But then he remembered something from last night. I will not run away from my life anymore, so he didn't try to do everything. He didn't try to be perfect. He didn't try to become a different person in one day. He just opened one simple thing, a basic coding lesson. And then he sat there. Minutes passed. His mind kept distracting him. Check your phone. This is boring. You are not understanding. Leave it. This was not easy. This was a fight, a real fight. He didn't understand everything. He made mistakes. He felt slow. But he did not leave. 10 minutes passed, then 15, then 20. And something strange started happening. His mind slowly became quiet. Not completely, but enough. For the first time in a long time, he was focused. Not perfect, but present. That moment was more powerful than motivation, because motivation comes and goes, but action builds something stronger. After 30 minutes, he closed his laptop, not because he was tired, but because he had done something real, something he had been avoiding for months. He didn't feel like a hero. He didn't feel successful, but he felt something new. Control. The day continued. It was not perfect. He still checked his phone. He still wasted some time. He still felt lazy in the afternoon. But something had changed. He was aware. Every time he wasted time, he knew it. Every time he avoided work, he saw it clearly. And awareness creates discomfort. Before, he could waste a full day without thinking. Now, even 1 hour of distraction started to bother him. That discomfort was important, because it pushed him back, again and again. In the evening, he sat again, not because he felt like it, but because he remembered his decision. This time, it was a little easier. Not easy, but easier. And that is how change works. Not suddenly, not dramatically, slowly, quietly. That night, Daniel was lying in bed again. Same ceiling, same room, same silence. But his thoughts were different. He did not feel proud. He did not feel excited. But he did not feel regret either. For the first time in a long time, he felt peaceful, because he knew something simple. Today, I did not run away, and that matters more than anything. Days passed. Some days were good. Some days were bad. One day, he woke up late again. He wasted half the day. He felt the old version of himself coming back. That moment was dangerous, because this is where most people quit. They say, "See, I cannot change, I am still the same." Daniel felt that too. But then, he stopped himself. He remembered something important. One bad day does not destroy progress, quitting does. So that same day, even after wasting hours, he sat down again, even if it was just for 10 minutes, even if it was uncomfortable, even if it felt useless. He showed up. And that is what most people don't understand. Winning your life is not about perfect days. It is about showing up, even on your worst days. Slowly, something started changing inside him. Not his skills, not his results, but his identity. He was no longer the person who always avoided. He was becoming the person who tries, even when it is hard, even when it is boring, even when it is uncomfortable. And that identity is more powerful than any goal, because once you change how you see yourself, your actions start changing automatically. The war was not over, not even close. Every day, the same voices came back. Every day, comfort tried to pull him back. Every day, he had to fight again. But now, he knew something important. This is not a one-time battle. This is a daily war, and the person who wins is not the strongest. It is the one who keeps fighting. Chapter 3. The pain that started building him. The next few weeks were not exciting. There was no big moment, no sudden success, no powerful transformation that people talk about in movies. It was slow, quiet, almost invisible. But inside Daniel, something was being built every single day. Every morning still felt like a battle. The alarm rang and his body still wanted to stay in bed. His mind still whispered the same old lies. Just 5 more minutes. You can do it later. Today is not the right day. Nothing had changed on the outside. But what changed was how he responded. Some days he woke up on time. Some days he failed. Some days he sat on his chair and worked. Some days he wasted hours again. But there was one difference now. He stopped giving up on himself. Before, one bad morning destroyed his entire day. Now, even if he failed in the morning, he tried to recover in the afternoon. Even if he wasted time, he forced himself to sit for at least a few minutes. That small change started building something powerful inside him. Consistency. Not perfect consistency. Not clean, beautiful discipline. But messy consistency. Real consistency. The kind that struggles but still continues. One evening, Daniel was sitting in front of his laptop trying to solve a simple coding problem. It was not hard. It was something a beginner could solve. But he was stuck. His mind felt slow. His head started hurting. Frustration started rising inside him. He wanted to close the laptop. He wanted to escape. He wanted to go back to his phone and forget everything. That moment was important, because this is where most people quit. Not when things are impossible, but when things are uncomfortable. Daniel sat there, staring at the screen, feeling irritated, feeling tired, feeling like he was not good enough. His mind started attacking him again. You are too slow. Others are better than you. You will never understand this. Leave it. For a few seconds, he almost believed it. His hand slowly moved towards the phone. But then, he stopped. He remembered all those nights of regret. He remembered how it felt to waste an entire day. He remembered that empty feeling in his chest. And he asked himself one simple question. Do you want temporary comfort or a different life? That question hit him deeply. He slowly pulled his hand back, took a deep breath, and looked at the screen again. He did not feel motivated. He did not feel strong. But he stayed, minute after minute, trying again, failing again, trying again, until finally, something clicked. A small solution, not perfect, not impressive, but his. That moment was small for the world. But for Daniel, it was huge, because he did not run away. That day, he understood something that changed his mindset completely. Growth is painful, but running away is more painful. After that, he started respecting the struggle. He stopped expecting things to feel easy. He stopped waiting for motivation. He stopped dreaming about perfect days. Instead, he started showing up. No matter how he felt, days turned into weeks. And slowly, the results started showing. He could sit longer without distraction. He could focus better. He started understanding things faster. He started speaking English alone in his room without feeling as awkward as before. He started noticing his own improvement. It was not fast. It was not dramatic. But it was real. One day, his mother noticed something. She saw him sitting quietly, working on his laptop without touching his phone for a long time. She didn't say anything at first. She just watched him for a few seconds. Then she smiled softly and walked away. That small moment meant everything to him, because for the first time, someone else saw his effort. Not his dreams, not his words, but his actions. Another day, his friend called him and said, "You don't come online much these days." What happened? Daniel smiled slightly and said, "I am trying to fix my life." There was no pride in his voice, no showing off, just truth. And that truth felt powerful. But the journey was still not easy. Some days were heavy. Some days he felt tired of fighting himself. Some days the old habits tried to come back stronger. He still had moments where he wasted time and felt guilty again. But now, he didn't stay there. He learned how to come back. That became his real strength. Not never failing, but never staying down. He started building a routine. Not a perfect routine, but a simple one. Wake up earlier than before. Sit for focused work even if it is just 30 minutes. Practice speaking daily even if it feels awkward. Reduce useless scrolling. Sleep with a clear mind. These small habits started shaping his identity. He was no longer the boy who only talked about changing his life. He was becoming the person who actually did something. Even if it was small, even if it was slow, even if no one noticed. And that is the part most people don't understand. Real change is invisible in the beginning. No one claps for you. No one praises you. No one sees your struggle. But inside you, something powerful is being built. Discipline. And discipline changes everything. One night, Daniel sat alone again. The same room. The same silence. But this time, it felt different. He was not thinking about how far he still had to go. He was thinking about how far he had already come. Not in results, but in mindset. He was no longer controlled by every lazy thought. He was no longer running from discomfort. He was no longer waiting for the perfect moment. He was creating his own movement. Slowly, quietly, powerfully. The war was still there, but now he was stronger than before. Not because life became easy, not because everything suddenly worked perfectly, but because he had changed the one thing that controls everything: himself. Chapter 4. The Man He Became. The next few months were not magical. They were disciplined. There were still days when he felt tired. There were still mornings when his body wanted to stay in bed. There were still moments when his mind whispered old excuses. But now, those excuses had lost their power, because Daniel no longer believed everything his mind said. He questioned it, he challenged it, and most importantly, he acted anyway. That is the point where most people never reach. The point where you stop waiting to feel ready and start moving even when you feel nothing. Slowly, his life started shifting, not in one big moment, but in many small moments. He woke up earlier more often than before. He worked even when it felt boring. He practiced even when no one was watching. He kept showing up, again and again and again. And this is what changed everything. Repetition. Because repetition creates identity, and identity creates destiny. He was no longer trying to become disciplined. He was becoming discipline. That is a different level. One day he opened his old notes, the ones he wrote months ago. Half-finished ideas, incomplete code, random plans, broken promises. He looked at them quietly, and for a moment, he felt something strange. Not regret, not pain, but gratitude. Because that version of him, even though he was lost, even though he was weak, he still wanted to change. And that desire started everything. Daniel closed the notebook, looked at his current work, and realized something deeply. He was not where he wanted to be yet, but he was no longer where he used to be. And that is progress. Real progress. One evening, his father sat next to him again. This time, Daniel was working with full focus. No distractions, no hesitation, just pure effort. His father watched him for a few seconds, then said softly, "You have changed." Daniel looked up, not with pride, not with ego, but with quiet confidence. He said, "I am trying every day." His father nodded. And in that small moment, there was respect. The kind of respect that cannot be asked for. The kind of respect that is earned through effort, through discipline, through consistency. That night, Daniel stood in front of the mirror again. The same mirror, the same room, but a completely different person. He looked into his own eyes. No shame, no regret, no hiding, just clarity, just strength, just truth. He didn't say anything. He didn't need to, because for the first time, he felt proud of himself, not because he achieved something big, but because he stopped betraying himself. And that is the biggest victory. Listen carefully. This is where most people misunderstand everything. They think success changes you. No, discipline changes you, and success follows. Daniel did not become rich overnight. He did not become perfect. He did not become extraordinary in one day. But he became something much more powerful, reliable. And a reliable person always wins in the long run. Because when you can trust yourself, you don't need motivation. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need external push. You move. Because that is who you are. And that is what Daniel built. Not just skills, not just knowledge, but character. The kind of character that does the work, even when no one is watching, even when it is boring, even when it is hard, even when it hurts. And that is the real way to kill laziness. Not by waiting for motivation, not by watching videos, not by making perfect plans, but by doing one thing again and again. Act, even when you don't feel like it. Act, even when your mind says no. Act, even when it is uncomfortable. Because every time you act, you break the control of laziness. And every time you don't, you make it stronger. Daniel understood this, and that understanding changed his life forever. Now listen carefully. This is not just Daniel's story. This is your story. Right now, you know what you should do. You know what you are avoiding. You know where you are wasting your time. And you also know that if you keep living like this, nothing will change. So the real question is not, do you understand the story? The real question is, what are you going to do after this? Because nothing will change until you move. Not tomorrow, not later. Now. Start small, start slow, but start. Because the day you stop running from your life is the day your real life begins. Listen carefully. This is the moment most people ignore. Not because they don't understand, but because they don't want to face the truth. Laziness is not relaxing. Laziness is not comfort. Laziness is slow self-destruction. It looks soft on the outside, but inside, it is quietly destroying your discipline, your confidence, your future, your identity. Every time you delay your work, you are not just delaying a task, you are delaying your life. Every time you say later, you are teaching your mind that your goals are not important. Every time you choose comfort, you are making your future weaker. And this happens so slowly that you don't even notice it. Days pass, weeks pass, months pass, and one day, you wake up and realize you are still in the same place, with the same excuses, the same habits, the same regrets. And that realization is painful, very painful. But here is the truth that can change everything. You are not stuck. You are just repeating the same pattern, and patterns can be broken. Not by motivation, not by watching videos, not by waiting for the perfect day, but by action. Small action, repeated daily. Right now, at this exact moment, you have two choices. Stay the same, or change. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Because your life is not changing in big moments. Your life is changing in small decisions. The decision to wake up when you don't feel like it. The decision to work when it is boring. The decision to continue when it is hard. The decision to try again after failure. These decisions look small, but they build a powerful identity. And identity is everything. If you see yourself as a lazy person, you will act like one. If you see yourself as a disciplined person, you will act like one. So the real question is not, do you want success? The real question is, who are you becoming every single day? Because your future is not created by luck. It is created by what you do, again and again, when no one is watching. Understand this deeply. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to feel confident. You don't need to feel motivated. You just need to move. Even when you feel nothing, even when your mind is against you, even when everything inside you says stop. Because the moment you act in that situation, you break something very powerful, the control of laziness. And every time you break it, you become stronger. Every single time. Think about this. There are people right now who started with less than you, less knowledge, less resources, less support. But they are ahead of you. Not because they are smarter, but because they moved while you waited. They acted while you delayed. They built while you scrolled. That difference creates everything. So stop comparing. Stop thinking. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Because the perfect moment is not coming. You create it. With your action. Right now, stand up. Open your work. Do something. One page, one task, one step. That is enough. Because one step leads to another, and another, and another. Until one day, you look back and realize you are no longer the same person. You are stronger. You are disciplined. You are in control. And most importantly, you respect yourself. And that feeling is priceless. More powerful than money. More powerful than success. More powerful than anything. Because when you respect yourself, you stop accepting a weak life. You start building a powerful one. So don't take this lightly. This is not just motivation. This is a decision point, a turning point. A moment where you either continue the same life or you change it. Completely. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to push you. No one is coming to change your life. You are the one. You always were. So take control, right now, and kill your laziness before it quietly kills your dreams, your future, and the person you could have become. If this message hit you deeply and you want to keep growing your mindset and your English every day, make sure you subscribe and stay connected.